I want to talk about Akademiks.
Yes.
You know, our guy. That's my guy. You know, and you saw the Akademiks Vic Mensa exchange?
No, I didn't see what happened.
You're familiar with Everyday Struggle?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Complex, what up?
Yeah, Vic Mensa just basically went off on Akademiks because Akademiks has a YouTube page called The War in Chirac.
He called him a bitch? He
called him a bitch, told him he wanted to slap the shit out of him. He caught him here and not other places. Right. He fucked him up, blah, blah, blah. I totally understand where Vic Mensa was coming from.
Right. And then how did Akademiks respond?
Not in the best way. Right. You know,
what did he do?
He didn't really respond yet. He just basically was like, I get love in Chicago. And he was like, he basically didn't mean it in that way. He was doing satire. But that kind of proved Vic's point. Because Vic was saying, this ain't nothing to be joking about.
My livelihood and shit like that.
I go to these funerals. Right. You know what I'm saying? I see the effect that this stuff is having on people's families. And you making jokes about it. Like, and when he said it was satire, he was kind of proving Vic's point. I don't think Akademiks handled it the best. I had a conversation with Ak about it. You know what I'm saying? Because my whole thing is this. Certain things you can't stand by.
Right. But you've been in that position yourself also. Somebody like yourself who's in media on a daily basis on several platforms. Mm-hmm. You got to keep the engine running. And there are times when you say shit and you're thinking it's in satire, but a whole...
No, never.
No?
That's what I always tell people. I don't tell jokes. I tell the truth. But that's why I'm able to stand on my words. Like if Beanie Siegel comes in and I've already said to Beanie, yo, I think that you're an opportunist and your loyalty lies with people who present you opportunity. Whatever I said, I don't even remember what I said about him. When he comes to the radio show, I'm gonna say that directly to him. Right. And he can insult me and call me a bitch and call me a pussy. All that's cool.
At least
I'm still standing on what I can say.
I had some shit like that recently because like 10 years ago I wrote this article dissing Tupac because I wasn't fucking with Tupac, particularly because I was from the East Coast, and I know a lot of people that were hurt because of his actions. But over the years, my opinions on Tupac have softened. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm starting to see the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. I'm not so close to like Bad Boy and shit like that. And I'm a grown ass man. So the other day I was interviewing the Outlaws, and I was like, I didn't know how they would respond. So when they came in, I was like, yo, first off, before we start, you got to understand, like I wasn't fucking with Tupac. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm sure they understand.
But
that.
I was like, I don't want to be like a hypocrite and sit here and be like, oh, Tupac is great, the Outlaws. But at the same time, the shit I did 10 years ago is not necessarily the views that I have today.
You know what you did that Akademiks didn't do?
Right.
You owned it.
Yeah, you got to own it.
Akademiks said to Vic Mensa, what do you think about people who, whatever the question was? And Vic was like, nah, it ain't people, it's you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that?
I think and you hit the nail on the head with this is when someone says I'm gonna slap you, or I think you're a bitch and that kind of shit like that, conventional wisdom would say, well, you gotta say do it or slap him back.
Right.
No, you just have to say the exact same shit said when he wasn't there.
That's it.
Right to his face.
That's it.
When he said, I think you're a bitch and I think you're a slap, and then you just have to look right at him and go, well, I think that and this is what he said on his show, I think what's happening in Chicago is straight coonery, and I think it's the coon apocalypse, and I think there's a bunch of savages out there.
He didn't say that on Everyday Struggle, but he said it on YouTube.
And now, if he said that shit right to Vic, real talk, if he said it right to Vic, it's not on him to slap Vic. It's on Vic to slap him now.
Right.
Now Vic has to back up his words, and if Vic don't slap him after he says it right to his face, who looks like the bitch in that situation?
You gotta have that same energy at all times. And I already told Akademiks stuff like this is gonna happen.
And it's come back to bite him, man. You sent me that screenshot yesterday.
Why? Because does he have a habit of?
He's not putting his foot in his mouth, but things are different when you're not at home,
right,
on YouTube,
right,
doing your videos. Now you're actually talking to these people.
Right.
And when you're talking to these people, they're going to check you. Mm-hmm. Now you get to see what somebody's made of. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And
you ain't just an internet thug anymore.
That's it. And I told Akademiks this was going to happen. Yeah. So it's just like, yo, you got to handle it better. Like the same thing with the SZA situation. You can't talk about SZA in a negative way, and then when she gets there, you don't got nothing to say.
Yeah, same with Wale.
Same with Wale. Like, you got to have that same energy at all times.
Keep firing.
If you have the same energy...
Keep your aim straight.
If you have the same energy, it don't matter what somebody says to you.
People respect you, man.
Yes, sir.
They might not like you, but they will respect your honesty.
Yeah,
they will respect your consistency.
Absolutely.
Because that gives us security. When I know someone feels the same way every single day about the same situation, I know how to operate around that person.
But what if they change their minds? Then how do you operate it for that?
Depends how you change your mind. Right? I think how you handled that situation to be honest, you didn't change your mind about how you felt back then. You said, I felt that way back then. So now we're talking about 10 years later. That's a very different situation. When you put out a video about Chirac 2 months ago and you still feel that way and they're still putting these videos out, you can't say I changed my mind.
And that's tough too, man, because, that's tough, man. Because
I believe in changing your mind. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you got to be consistent.
But then it's tough also because, I mean, when one of the first things I learned having a podcast, being a public voice, is you got to be responsible for your words too.
Absolutely.
You got it, because it's one thing when I didn't have an audience and I was like keying with these motherfuckers on Twitter, but then when I'm saying some shit about, say, Papoose or whatever, and that shit reverberates, it's like, oh, this is real.
Yeah,
this is real right now.
Yeah. Don't nobody want to hear that. I'm just playing shit.
Yo,
it's satire. Like, I want to hear that shit.
It's jokes.
Hey, Akademiks actually hurt my heart when he said that.
Yeah,
like, it's satire. No, stand by your words. Yeah. That's why I always say, I don't tell jokes, I tell the truth. Because when I get approached, I want to be able to stand by my shit.
You don't have to like what I say, and we could clash, but you're gonna respect me as a man.
You can call me pussy all day long. First of all, Fredro was weird. And when I talked to Akademiks, he was like, he didn't expect that to come from Vic. I didn't expect that to come from Fredro because I was bringing up something that Fredro said about getting head from Brandy. Right. Yeah. And he spazzed out, calling me pussy and all kind of stuff, but I'm not going to back down from...
And this is some shit that you got from public?
He said it on a video.
Yeah, you quoted
it.
So a lot of these motherfuckers are weirdos anyway.
That's my thing. So a
lot of these motherfuckers are weirdos, man.
But the problem going on here for Ak is that once people smell blood in the water, the sharks come.
Right.
So humans are very primal on every level. It's like once you see that somebody isn't willing to stand up for themselves, now all of a sudden they're a target, and you could use that person to kind of elevate your own status. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm sure Vic went into that interview knowing, hey, I can say whatever I want to this guy, and he's not gonna say anything back because he didn't say the same shit to Wale. He didn't say the same shit to SZA.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you watch the whole thing, Vic didn't go in there with that type of attitude. Vic was cool. Vic was there for like 20, 25 minutes.
Right.
Ak brought that shit back.
Interesting.
Yeah, Ak asked about the drill shit. He asked about it first at once, and Vic was like, he gave an answer, whatever. And then Ak was like, hold on, let's stay on that for a second.
Yeah.
That's when Vic was like,
he bought it on himself.
That's when Vic was like, not people, you.
Can you blame Vic for his opinion?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because that's been his consistent opinion.
Absolutely. I think Vic was absolutely right in that situation. I told Akademiks that. I think Vic was absolutely 100% correct in that situation.
My biggest issue about that whole situation was the way that Complex have been playing Akademiks. They need to
I saw you get into it with one of the producers of Everyday Struggle.
Now, how they? Because I haven't been really watching that show. How they playing him?
Well, they're playing him because they're using him. Akademiks on a lot of levels is their competition. Right? So they bring in their competition. It's very smart. It's strategic, right? So they bring in their competition, right? Pay their competition, and now he's working for them and creating content for them. But and maybe it's just because they're a young network and they really don't understand how to deal with talent, their loyalty doesn't lie with their talent. Their loyalty lies with their content.
Of course.
They put a smash cut together, right? Of just Akademiks getting emasculated by Vic. Right? No response from Akademiks. No cutaway to what he had to say in reaction.
That's a game, though. That's a game.
But here's the difference.
That's a game. Akademiks is there to create content, regardless how he looks or not.
I hear you.
He created content. The content is something that could go viral. They're going to use it.
But here's the difference.
He signed up for that.
When Charlamagne was on Ridiculousness this week, and he shit all over Chanel West Coast.
I didn't shit on Chanel.
You just stop. I really did. You know what the MTV put that clip out? MTV put that clip out. Chanel West Coast goes off on Charlamagne the God. They positioned it with Chanel because Chanel is their talent and that's the show and they want to be on Chanel's good side.
I mean, I'm talent too.
You're talent too, but you're not on ridiculousness. You know what I'm saying? They could have put out Charlamagne the God destroys Chanel, which is what really happened. Yeah. But they positioned
really didn't.
Son, stop it. They positioned it away. My point is, so Complex and Charlamagne brought this up. It was a very good point. Is now Akademiks gets shit on all over on Complex. They're not even telling him the guests that are coming in, apparently. He's asking who the guests are. They don't even tell him before they're coming in. He gets shit on by Complex, and then he has to go defend himself on his platforms. And what is he talking about on his platforms now? Complex. It's a constant feedback circle. Is it a brilliant thing? Yes, but you're throwing one of your talent under the bus, and that shit can only happen so long. You're not gonna do that with me.
I'll say this: I don't ever mind using those moments as quote unquote clickbait. You know what I'm saying? Like when Beanie. And by the way, I could edit all those interviews if I wanted to. It's not like those shit is live, but I'm like, fuck that. I know what's gonna move this shit.
Sure. Yeah, plus I know I stand on my shit.
Yeah. So I use those moments. I'm not gonna put me saying anything to Beanie, I'm gonna put you a sucker and I don't like you. Mm-hmm. That's what's gonna go in the promo. Because I know that's what's gonna bring people in.
Sure.
The problem with Akademiks is they're using that to bring people in, but he's not standing on his shit either.
You gotta stand on your shit.
He needs better media training.